Tesla saga continues today with 6 out of the 9 Tesla board members issuing a statement saying that CEO Elon Musk approached the board last week with the idea of taking the company private, and the group is currently evaluating the decision. 6 out of 9. I wonder who the 3 who were not consulted were. Or maybe they just didn't sign on to the statement. Let's bring in CNBC contributor Kevin O'Leary. He is the chairman of O-Shares ETFs and a co-host, of course, of Shark Tank. Kevin, you've said in the past you like your Model X, but you hate the stock. What do you think of this move possibly going private? Can it work?
I actually was in my Model X yesterday driving when the Financial Times story broke with my my young son, who's an engineer. That he's the person that forced me to buy that Model X. I was dead against it, but he brainwashed my wife.
And you love it, don't you? It's wonderful.
I love the car.
Yeah.
I hate the stock. But before I preface, what I think about this situation is, there's never been a stock or a story like this one, and I know that because just last week when I left Fast Money and walked into Times Square, I got accosted by 2 Muskonians, and they're far more ferocious than the old Tazonians or whatever they used to be called. There's always a story stock in the market. Here's why I think this move is brilliant. I'm going to assume right now that the legal issues that are swirling around that tweet probably have no merit and nothing's going to happen, because Twitter has been used, as is Facebook, to disseminate data for other public companies, particularly internet ones, and it went nowhere in terms of a legal claim. So let's put that aside. What I find so fascinating is the timing with the FT release. We now know there's a put on the stock with the Saudis in there with their first $2 billion. Let's assume they want more, would buy more. If you're a short in this stock, and the first thing I did when I heard the FT story is called a couple of desks that I know are short Tesla, because it was starting to move up on that news. Some of these hedge guys are 3 times levered. They are really, really hurting now.
Right.
And if I'm Elon Musk and I want to finance, I'm doing it off a stock that's up almost 40% from its recent lows. This move is brilliant.
Yeah, but wait a minute. I know you're setting aside the legal issues, the potential legal issues, but that one sentence in there, 2 words, financing insured. What if it's not? Here's a CEO making public information about and essentially telling us something that's not true. The SEC is going to be all over that, right?
I grew up in the private equity world. What that could mean is that he has gone to institutions that own this stock already, and they're going to roll into the private deal. So that takes the requirement for a lot of debt out of the equation. You don't know what percentage of institutions will stay through the private holding of this. We don't know. But here's the part I find so fascinating. And look, I'm just speculating here with everybody else. I don't have any insider information, but I look at it as a stock. If I were short this stock right now, I would be sweating bullets for this next piece of news. Let's say he has dinner with Cook, or he has dinner with Zuckerberg, or he meets with Sheryl Sandberg, which could easily happen in the Valley, and I was short this stock, I would be screwed, because there is a scenario, and you may call it small, but if Apple wants to be in the car business, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
You step up. Doesn't have to be $420. It could be another price. I think Elon Musk has made a really good chess move here. I do not own this stock, and
would you buy
I'm not long
here?
or short.
You said you hate the stock. Is this enough to get you to buy it? And I think you make a very interesting point. Tim Cook could buy this company for cash, couldn't he?
Yes, and that's the whole point. What he's done here is formed a speculative aura around a position that is at a ridiculous valuation.
Hasn't
the worst
he, though,
thing that could
manipulated
happen,
the stock, though, at the same time? You have that convertible bond. You've got the Saudi investment there with the put. I mean, all of this, it smacks of the possibility of stock manipulation at the same time, doesn't it?
I'm going to assume that he is going to survive that test. But what I find so fascinating here is this is the dilemma. He's been talking about becoming cash flow positive in the next 2 quarters. My advice to him, do not do that. Never become profitable in the near term. That would be a horrific mistake. It would make people like me apply a normal multiple of 15 to 17 times on those earnings, and this stock would get crushed if it had to play in the same universe as all the other automotive companies.
But Kevin,
you got to keep the dream alive. Never make money. Be an Amazon for the next 5 years.
All right.
Forget about profits.
Listen, you invest in entrepreneurs and startups with the hopes of one day taking those companies public. The fact that Elon Musk wants to take Tesla private due to scrutiny of his stock price, is this a wake-up call to regulators to ease the burden of being a public company without impairing the benefits?
I love where you're going with that, because you're absolutely right. The reason these holdouts like Uber stay private as long as they can is they have easy access to capital under all kinds of structures. They'd much prefer not to report. The onerous attribution around the cost of compliance has done nothing except inflate in every asset class that is public. Somehow, as a society or as a country or as a regulator, we've got to ease that to allow more companies to come public earlier on. Because Elon Musk is just pointing something out, and he's in a story stock that allows people to suspend belief in free cash flow. You don't have to worry about cash flow because the whole world is willing to follow him down this path. And the reason, which is so unique, the product is fantastic. I love my Tesla. I would never buy this stock. Right. Never, never, never.